I'm Chris Bussing. Welcome to my channel. It's committed to helping more people access personal transformation, freedom, and joy through success in tech sales and the pursuit of self-development. And yes, we talk a lot about succeeding in sales and in an individual contributor role, but today we're going to talk about the path to entrepreneurship. We've got Cory McKane with us today. He started a SaaS company, and we're going to learn from him on what it takes to actually start a company in the real world, the highs and lows and everything in between. I know a lot of us out there that are in sales, deep down, we want to actually become an entrepreneur, and tech sales can actually be a training ground and vehicle to launch into that path. So super excited to have Cory. And of course, before we dive in, make sure to like the video because the YouTube algorithm loves that. And we'll show this video to more people who could benefit from the message, and subscribe to the channel for weekly videos committed to your success in tech sales and in life. So Cory, thanks so much for joining. How's your morning going so far?
Pleasure, man. Yeah, morning's going great. Just hit the gym really quick and, getting ready to start the day.
Man, way to hit it hard to start the day. I mean, it's 8 a.m., 8:01 a.m. in Austin. That's impressive, and excited to dig into the background of your company, WeStrive. We could start there. Could you tell us a little bit about what WeStrive is all about? What's the vision? What are the problems you're solving? And how did the journey begin?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need more than 30 minutes to go through all that stuff, but I'll do my best to summarize. Basically, journey began, many years ago. I started this company 8 years ago. I had a failed B2C platform that didn't necessarily fail, but, definitely wasn't doing well. So we kind of switched it over to the B2B side, and now we switched to enterprise. And essentially what we are is a all-in-one tool for personal trainers and gym owners. So we do program building, we do billing, habit tracking, surveys, like anything that you could need as a personal trainer with your client, we handle. And then, as I just mentioned, moved into the gym space, and now we're working with a bunch of enterprise clients, and we've secured some pretty big partnerships in the gym space.
So how did you get started? And you're 29, you're my age. It's pretty amazing that you're a founder and building a business. And not to mention, you've got your podcast. Isn't that why WeStrive? Am I getting it right?
Yeah. So just the word "why" in front of WeStrive. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. And you also host networking events, which I'm excited to attend. One big event you're hosting coming up in Austin, connecting founders. So there's so much you're doing. And how did you even know that you wanted to follow this path? Did you think it was even possible, especially at such a young age?
Yes. I mean, I started this at, I think I was 21 actually when I started, or maybe 22. At that time I couldn't, there's no possible way I could fathom 8 years later living in Austin, like running this company and being so deep into the tech space. I was getting my accounting degree as a senior when I first started this. I had no idea what was happening. I thought like I'd be a millionaire after year one, and we'd make like this really fun app where you could buy programs. And that's not how it turned out. So it's not necessarily that I knew where it was going to go. It was just that I knew that like if every single day I just kind of like put more and more work into it, I would eventually get to where I want to be. That's where we are today. So, there's no like, I know where we're going. It was more just like, we'll see how far we can go if we just keep working at it.
I like that you just took action and you're putting in sweat equity and work, every day. And I feel like the best way to get going as an entrepreneur, or, some of the audience, a lot of the audience, they want to break into tech sales. So that's their own leap of faith. It just comes down to taking action, and doing, and then inspiration comes. But I'm curious, why are you so passionate about the fitness space?
Yeah, I've been in fitness or sports my whole life. I played soccer and basketball growing up, did track, all that fun stuff, and then did some like weightlifting competitions in college. To be honest, like I'm not like obsessed with it. Like I love fitness. I love playing pickleball, playing sports, working out, weightlifting, all that stuff. But like I'm not one of those like nuts that like if I miss my workout, my whole day is like just completely ruined. Although that is kind of true, based because I like working out in the morning because it gets me going. But like if I miss a workout, I'm okay. I'm not like crazy on my diet. I just definitely enjoy the fitness space, and it's really cool to see like our personal trainers or our gym owners. Like I just checked our dashboard today, and we have a coach that signed up like over a year ago, and she just added another client. So it just shows her like still being involved with our platform, still paying for our SaaS subscription, and just like it's just really cool to see like the platform grow over time. And it's cool to have a platform that not only helps like our coaches hit their goals, but it's that indirectly helps the clients actually reach their goals as well too. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the most rewarding aspects of being a founder is. And one, it seems based on what you said is you get to see the positive impact you're making on the individuals using the technology. But is there any more color you'd add to, again, the rewarding aspects of going all in and being a founder of a company?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with being a founder is like the rewards come hand in hand with the not rewards, whatever that word is, the losses. I don't even know what to say, but like, every positive has a negative. Aside from like the clients, losing, weight and getting in better shape, like that's always going to be a positive. There's no opposite of that. But like, you get a new coach that subscribes, or like we just had another gym sign up yesterday, and they're paying for us to build a white labeled app. That's awesome. But then I can't tell you how many mornings I've woken up and some big account is canceled. And then the cancellations hit me honestly harder than the upgrades. They really hurt, honestly. So we're going to be hiring a full-time salesperson probably in the next, well, we kind of already have hired them, but they'll be able to handle the sales. They'll care a lot less than I will. I definitely can't be the sales guy anymore. Yeah, there's constant rewards, man. Like whether it's, someone emailing us saying how much they love the platform and like it's kind of changed their business. They've gone from like struggling to use PDFs every single day to now they're like, okay, I can actually like run and scale and grow my business. To, like I mentioned, like the client that was literally like zooming in on a little PDF document that now like has an interactive workout and they've lost like 20 pounds. So there's tons of rewards. Getting investment from angels is awesome. But again, opposite side, having an angel pull a check at the last minute is also like a super negative. So, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but at the end of the day, like it just really feels really good. Like the most rewarding thing I think is just, taking something that you've created and then actually like getting it to a point where like it's a successful business and you're making money and paying employees and all that stuff.
So what role does sales play in your growth as a company? Because I hear all the time, like sales is the lifeblood of any organization. And you're even mentioning that you're going to need to bring in a salesperson to give these customers attention and make sure they stay on the platform. And obviously they'll probably help find new ones. But can you speak to your thoughts on the role that sales plays? Because this channel is, it's a lot of what we talk about is sales,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I really need to do a better job of sales. What we've done is we've secured some really great partnerships that bring a lot of our these gyms into the door. And for us, like, it's a matter of once the gyms are in the door, being able to like close them. So me and one other person are fully trained. Like, of course, I'm not trained, but I know what are like ready to work on these gyms. And so I basically just bring in my first salesperson. I've kind of been onboarding them, showing them how to like actually execute a sales call, how to follow up and all that stuff. And we find that like, obviously as a SaaS platform, it's a little different. Like we could technically just have like funnels that lead to, sign up rates and then like 20% off pop-ups if you cancel or whatever. So we can do all that stuff and it could be automated, but we found that like with these bigger gyms, if we hop on one phone call with them, it's like almost 100% close rate. So it's just a matter of like, actually getting on the phone call with them, properly answering their questions, properly going through the demo, and being able to like close during the call. So I don't know if that answered your question, but like we're definitely becoming more and more of a sales platform for sure.
Yeah, what you hit on is so true. With enterprise organizations, they want that personal touch. They want to be listened to and they want to see the thing and get that attention. And in your case, it sounds like one call can get it done.
For sure.
Really great. And I'm curious, what are some of the keys to executing in that call? It sounds pretty straightforward, but do you have that as a founder and leader and someone who really knows the solution? How do you approach your calls? And I imagine a lot of it's listening and like empathizing, but would love your thoughts.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've done over 1,000 sales calls. I don't even think of it as sales anymore. I'm just like, I really do love doing these demos. Like, it's a platform that I've built. And so I can see every single button and logo and pop up and like, remember a time where like we added that, or remember a time where like that wasn't working very well. And like, okay, that's why we switched it over to this. And so, and I'm at the point now where I can be going through a demo and I know that when we open up our program builder, they're going to say, can I upload my own videos? And of course I'm going to say yes. And then like we push on a button and they're going to go, oh, well, does this button do this? And I'm going to go, yes. Like it's so consistent at this point where what questions they ask when. But yeah, I mean, I start off the call and I pretty much just kind of like get to know them first and foremost. I kind of ask them about their gym experience and like, why they're looking for a platform. I'll ask them questions about like what types of features are they looking for. And then what I found success in is like taking those answers and then kind of pivoting my demo on the fly based on what they say. So like if they tell me that they don't do any nutrition, they don't do any of like macro tracking or any of that stuff, I'm going to just skip the part where we cover that we do macro tracking and nutrition because that doesn't matter to them.
Yes.
But I find like a lot of people will do demos and they'll just do it the same time, same thing over and over again. And I did that early on, and I started to watch people just like get really bored of like, okay, well, this is irrelevant to my situation. So being able to like pivot the demo based on what the client wants to hear, essentially.
Yeah, that's a lesson I learned too in B2B tech sales is you want to understand, and I even in my case, some of my sales cycles before the call, what the client wants to see, and only focus on what they value. Do not, even if you think it's so cool, don't talk about the other bells and whistles.
Exactly.
You detract and slow down the sale. So that was a really good insight right there that you hit on. And yeah, I love that you're, open things up. Obviously, having a personal rapport and connection, that's table stakes. I feel like there is respect that's built when you are quick and you efficient, and certain executives want you to get down to business, but it's important not to step over actually personally connecting. And the final thing I took away is that, I mean, this is your baby, and it's so cool as a founder, you get to like think back and see every feature and like when it was built and the changes that were made, and you can foresee any objections or questions that pop up. And I think even for someone as an individual salesperson, they need to be able to foresee what are the next questions coming or the potential concerns and be able to proactively answer those things. So pretty insightful.
100%, man. Yeah. I mean, I've done like too many of these, honestly. So it's kind of become like I can do them in my sleep at this point.
Yeah, love that. So why did you pick a SaaS business model? Can you talk about some of the building a SaaS company?
Yeah, I mean, when I picked it, I didn't know what I was picking. I just kind of like, but I don't come from like a tech background. I got my accounting degree in like a small town in Eastern Washington. We didn't have like tech. We didn't have app people. That no one had an app. Like I was the first one to like have an app of any person I know in my extended friend group. Like friends of friends don't have apps. And so I didn't have advisors. So when we started off B2C, I was kind of like building this random thing. And then all of a sudden, as I mentioned, like it didn't work out. And we had these coaches that were saying like, hey, well, we'd love an all-in-one tool. And so I was like, cool, I'll charge you monthly. Like I didn't know it was a SaaS. I didn't know the benefits of having an amazing recurring revenue model that like I could like literally not touch my app this month, and then next month will grow by 5%. And it's like it's insane. Obviously we have like blogs and marketing in place to do that. Like it's not just that natural. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I didn't know what I was getting into. I'd say if I was gonna know what I was getting into, I would choose it for that same reason I just mentioned. Like having a successful like recurring revenue model is so clutch. Like I can't imagine. I have friends that run like they're selling e-com, they're doing like physical products and all that stuff, and it's like the stress of like you did 100,000 this month, but then next month it's like, hey, you could do 0. Like you don't know what's going to happen. That doesn't recur. So yeah, I mean that like there's a lot of things I would change if I could go back, but at the end of the day, like I'm very, very happy that we chose a SaaS platform, whether we knew what we were doing or not at that point.
Yeah, you hit the head on the nail of recurring revenue, that monthly revenue that you can count on, and that venture capital firms like to see too for like future rounds of funding versus selling a product that it could be really feast or famine.
Yeah,
so and also if you keep your clients happy, like you said, plugging in someone for sales or customer success, it ensures that you're going to be able to count on this revenue in the future. And the other thing I think of with SaaS, and I deal with a lot of SaaS companies that are selling like to monster enterprises, huge multi-million-dollar deals, but overall it's a high margin business, isn't it? Like there's a good amount of profit that you can make off of the solution.
For sure. I mean, I love my dev team, but I could technically let all of them go and I'd be making like 90% profit, So, I mean, it's, you're paying for like servers, you're paying for, like, random little, analytic tools that you don't necessarily need. Like I could delete all that shit and just like pump it out and make like 90% easily. So
That's
yeah,
something.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I really enjoy the model. And again, there's ups and downs for it, but like at the end of the day, it's a pretty solid business model.
Yeah, and when I think about the 90% would be huge in the typical SaaS business, maybe it's like 70, 60, 70%. I mean, that's just incredible. Now, one question is I want to get into the like the mindset, the skills, the qualities that are necessary to be successful as a founder. Maybe it's not for everyone, but I like to think we all have that potential to go out and take that leap of faith and build and do great things. However, before getting into that, wanted to ask, can we talk? Do you use your college degree at all? I actually, it's a leading question because I saw a post on LinkedIn that I think was funny.
Yeah, I don't use it at all. I equivalent. Sorry, it's really early. I equate. Okay, I was like, what am I doing? I equate my college degree to, I could have taken a 3-week Excel course and gotten really good at Microsoft Excel, and that was about what I got out of my degree, to be honest. Like I use TurboTax. I have an accountant that I hired. Like it's like I'm really good at forecasting though, because I'm really good at like creating these like beautiful sheets. But I'm like, I could have done that in 3 weeks in some awesome course and probably would have been better at it at the end of the day. So yeah, my degree feels pointless. I mean, I don't have the I don't know if that's type A or type B, but I don't have that personality that just like sits there and works on accounting sheets. It's just not who I am. I'm very outgoing. And so I would have never been an accountant. Don't know why I got the degree. It's a good degree to have, but like I quite frankly never use it. So yeah, don't use it.
Yeah, I mean, I was an economics major and I chose that because statistically I went to Georgetown University out of the college. People make the most money and it gives you flexibility. But what I loved is like minoring in Spanish and studying abroad in Spain. And honestly, what I learned in college was to grow socially, to get out of my comfort zone and build a network. And I got into sales and it didn't really matter as much what degree I had. When I was at Oracle, there was a history major that was one of our top performers. I mean, what does that have to do
exactly
with sales? So I just feel like, there's other programs out there and I'm a proponent of this one. It's called CourseCareers, and it's a program. It's a self-paced program over 3 weeks that can set you up to learn what you need to do to get into technology sales and start that your career path. So it's like a college alternative. And it's funny that you mentioned that you think you could have done a course on Excel and basically got what you got out of your college degree. Now, of course, having the recognition of that name and the access to the network is really valuable, and the traditional path is still great. But
my college I don't have a Georgetown. I have a Eastern Washington University, so I'm not really pulling from that network too often. I'm glad I went. I had a great time in college and made a lot of lifelong friends. But at the end of the day, like my degree, I'm not going to be an accountant. I don't care to be an accountant, and so my degree is essentially pointless. But it's definitely nice to have it. Like I'm glad I can tell people that I have my degree. I mean, I did well in college, but at the end of the day, like there's no network I'm pulling from. There's no alumni like, oh, this guy like founded Dell or whatever. It's just like fucking, we're all just chilling out in the woods in Cheney, Washington, so.
Yeah, but hey, now you're going to be that alumni that they're like, we got Cory McKane. We got someone.
I'll get a bunch of LinkedIn DMs I don't want to reply to. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It's funny because I do coach a lot of people to use LinkedIn as a networking tool. And of course, in doing it mindfully and respectfully and personally can be good, but I'm sure you get a lot of outreach. And one thing I wanted to ask you about, I mean, I was going to go down a different path, but I wanted to hit on this conversation, is when people reach out to you from a mentorship or maybe a sales perspective to sell something to you, what actually might get your attention versus what just absolutely turns you off and you're like, delete.
Well, I get so many now that they all just piss me off, to be honest. But the ones that don't, because I try and give every email the benefit of the doubt, because like I know that I'm doing sales sometimes to someone. It's like I'm like, if you had just read this, I know it's relevant for you. Like I watch them using like Excel documents to run their personal training programs, and I'm like, if you just fucking opened up, sorry, I don't know if I can cuss, but I'm like, if you just opened up, like, okay, cool. If you just fucking opened up my email and like read this, I promise you it would save you money, save you time. You'd have a better business instantly. But so I try and whenever I get a spam or like a random LinkedIn message or an email, I try and like, I try and like put myself in, their shoes really quick and be like, hey, they want me to read this. I'm going to read it. However, if you have more than like a paragraph and a half, I will mark it as spam immediately, like 100%. If someone emails me and it says like it's a very quick, like 1 to 2 sentence, like, hey, I saw you're working on WeStrive. We have this tool for editing videos. I know you guys like have your podcast. Like, let me know if you want to check it out. I would click on that 100% of the time. When it's this like, this long message and it's just like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, and then like they're getting my name wrong and they're like referencing my old email or something like that. It's like, dude, I'm not reading this message. Same thing with LinkedIn too. Honestly, when the message is way too long, I just like, I don't have time to read that. So I'd say like short messages that get to the point and actually are relevant usually are going to get me to open it.
Short messages, get to the point, relevant. Those are the ones that work. You don't want to be reading a novel like Moby Dick here. So yeah, sure. That's super helpful information for anyone that's listening that wants to pursue mentors or hook that meeting with an executive selling their solution. So what are the qualities that are required and maybe skill sets to be successful as a founder? And I'm throwing out just ideas to spark ideas on your end. It's like, I would think being a good decision maker, being curious, there's so many qualities, but what have you found in your real world experience?
Yeah. I mean, there really is so many qualities. I mean, I'm a solo founder. So like there's, and it is weird to think about how long I've been doing this for. It's like really like, it's been like a good chunk of my life. I've been building this company. Yeah, I mean, really too many things to count, but I mean, like you do need to be a good decision maker. And that grows over time too. Like I wasn't necessarily the best decision maker when I first started. As a SaaS founder, like you're constantly, especially of an all-in-one tool, I'm constantly like, oh, we need to add this feature because this person asked for it. And eventually get to the point where you're curating all of these questions. It's like, okay, 20 people asked for this feature, one asked for this, we're going to build the 21. So becoming like a better, organized decision maker is kind of like a skill that I've built over time. Being able to self-motivate is super important too. I can't tell you how many times like I would be up on like a Saturday night when I was living in LA, like after waiting tables all night, and I'm like working on some blog that we're going to put out. So like there's no one there telling you to work. Even if an investor puts a check in, they don't know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Like it has to literally be you telling yourself to wake up early to get your shit done and make sure that you're actually like executing. So I'd say those are the two main things, like good decision making and like self-motivation, I guess.
Yeah, really insightful. And I think a lot of people out there can relate to whether you're a founder or in tech sales, sometimes having to put in the late hours and grind, but man, it pays off. And that ability to motivate yourself in sales as well, especially in a remote selling world, is so important. So by the way, we set aside 30 minutes. Are you hard stop at 30, Cory? Because I still have some questions to get to, or do you have any?
I have a hard stop at 35, but.
Okay, cool. We'll pick it up, but I want to give a shout out to Desiree, Mia. We've got John. We've got, let's see, Derek.
Live right now?
What?
Oh, this is like literally live?
Yeah. And so John
actually.
Live,
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, so John downloaded the app and he's going to integrate it in his workout regimen. And he's going to do a deep dive.
We're not B2C, unfortunately. So we turned that off. So like you can't just work out without a coach. We have all the designs ready to make this badass B2C app, but it's like, to be honest, like we'd have to put in so much money to like make it work that we just have it turned off. So you have to have a coach, unfortunately. But I trust me, I really want it to be B2C. Our designs are just gorgeous, but it's just like it's not worth the financial, situation.
Yeah. Okay, John. So we'll follow up with you once that's
Sorry, John.
Getting going. And Mia says hi, Cory. But okay, so we still have some meat and potatoes to get to, some really good stuff. So let's just try and go rapid fire. We got about 10 minutes. What are the first milestones if someone in the audience wants, or whoever sees this in the future, wants to start a company, a SaaS company, right? And that's such a broad question. There's a million things, but some key milestones to go from nothing to maybe a minimum viable product or getting out there and having an actual business.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough, like, there's not like a, read this book and you're good to go. I mean, there is a lot of really great books like The Lean Startup you can read, which I would say start there, read The Lean Startup. It's a really awesome book that kind of like takes you through what it takes to actually build a SaaS and like getting started early, like how to make an MVP. But I would say just talk to a bunch of SaaS founders. And then, once you have your idea, number one thing that you should do, which is what I did when I first started, is book a ton of calls with your target audience. Don't, try and close them. Don't, because you're not gonna close them. You don't have a product yet, but get to hear their feedback, what features they're looking for, what's missing in the industry, like how can you actually make an impact on their business or on their lives, and then take those notes and then look at what your current idea is and see how you can pivot it. Maybe your idea is terrible and you're not going to make a business out of it, but having those initial conversations will definitely answer a lot of those questions for you.
So number one is find mentors who have done the thing and learn from them and try and model from them. They'll give you the answers to the test, it sounds like, or at least a great sense of direction. And two, go talk to your potential customers, not to sell them because you don't have anything, but to get feedback. 100%. And then actually figure out if you have a legit business, that you can build, or, if you need to pivot the way you're approaching problems. And so those are the key starting points. In terms of like building the product, did you leverage a team that you contracted to build the thing for you? How does that work on the technology piece once like, okay, there might be a fit for something?
And that's also not a cookie cutter answer too, because like I have an amazing team in Western Ukraine. They have like 20% equity in my company at this point, and I've been with them for 5 years. So I'm paying like pennies on the dollar for what I should pay, and so like you can go to like India, but you could have a bad experience, or maybe you have a great experience. You're paying $7 an hour, or maybe you hire a local firm, or maybe you get a CTO locally that like believes in your vision and wants to like build the company for you. Like there's a ton of different routes that you can take. I don't really have advice because, again, like any country can have a good or bad experience. Any firm can be a good or bad experience. If you're really lucky, you'll get the CTO route. I did not get that route, where you have someone that's like a full stack developer that just loves like this car wash app that you're launching, and he's like, I'm going to do this full time, and then you save $1 billion on development. Usually not the case, but I would say those mentors that you have are going to be able to help, or mentors that you're going to get will help you decide that. But at the end of the day, like I've talked to so many different founders, and it's always a different experience with a different country or different firm. So it's just tough. So yeah.
Yeah. So either you can get your own CTO, like founding engineer who's really bought in, or you can work with a company to build for you. And it sounds like you found a great fit. I know, I know a company in Mexico that, has really good rates and a good team that can plug in to build things for you. You were saying though, that having your own CTO and engineering founders ideal, but you can really do well with leveraging other firms as well. So even just talking at a high level is helpful, because obviously that's a clear part of the journey, is being able to build the technology that aligns with the vision that can solve, problems in the market. And I imagine, Cory, the solution is just going to adapt and iterate over time. And so what has your process to bring in feedback from the market and improve the solution look like at a high level?
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, it started off where I would just do like 1,000 calls, and then I would, over the years, and I would just be like, I feel like people have asked for that feature, but I don't remember. And then eventually it turned into me. I have this full like database where I have every single person of anything that they've ever asked, and I have it ranked. So it's like 35 people want the French language launched in our app. And it's like, cool, let's push out French. One person's asked for a pop-up notification on your dashboard when like a new client signs up. Cool. Yeah, we'll add that later. So just figuring out ways to like have these conversations both through like demos and through your chat bot and through emails, and then being able to like not only categorize those, but actually like filter them based on like how long it's going to take to build that feature, how expensive will it be, who all wants it. So that skill set has grown over time. I used to advise entrepreneurs to do that, and then I didn't do it myself, ironically. And then I finally started doing it. It's been a game changer. So,
wow.
So yeah, collecting organized feedback, basically.
Love that. And hey, that's actually really common. There are great coaches out there, and they don't always do the things themselves, but it sounds like you
Exactly.
implemented and now you've been seeing the results. And so, okay, we got 5 minutes and I could have moved quicker here. So let's rapid fire some more questions. How do you sell your vision and product to investors to raise funding? Like what are a couple keys to raising funding?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, the fitness space is kind of like overplayed. So it's like there's so many freaking fitness apps out there now. So we're definitely like an enterprise SaaS model for gyms, but you say fitness and all of a sudden investors are get kind of bored. So for me, it's tough. I have to kind of explain our vision for what we're eventually going to be with this ultimate all-in-one where you have bookings and like this crazy billing that like LA Fitness could onboard all the way down to like a single personal trainer could handle. So I pretty much just pushed the vision that like we are going to be the best health and fitness platform on the planet. We're launching a bunch of tools that are going to help these businesses grow their revenues and are really easy to use. And at the end of the day, like our team's been working on this for years. We're extremely dedicated, and like I do this every day, and I love this. Like there's no possible way that like you're going to beat me because I thoroughly enjoy doing this and I'm like really good at it. So I don't know. That's not what I picked for, but that's kind of like an example.
That's authentic, man. And you're passionate and that will power you and take you far. So what role has networking played in your entrepreneurial journey? How important is it?
Yeah. Networking's massive. I actually hate going to networking events now because I've gone to so many and like people are usually it's like earlier stage startups that like, I don't mind if you pitch me your idea, but like, if I had a long day, I don't want to hear 30 pitches in a row. I'm just exhausted, but like I host my own now because I've been to so many. I think you earned that spot. And I'll meet like 50 founders at each event. And then like this happened literally last week, met a founder through like a networking introduction because I was out there networking. And then that person introduced me to their cousin, and their cousin owns one of the biggest like payroll platforms for rock climbing gyms. And we have another call set up for next week. He loves our app. And there's a chance we could be like the personal training solution for rock climbing gyms. So it's like, it just that times a billion. Like I'm constantly getting intros because I've introed my friends and then I've like gone out to actual networking events. So huge.
Yeah, gosh, networking is huge, man. Some of the biggest monster deals in accounts that I never thought I could get into, it came through a warm inroad and a warm connection. And it sounds like one, you're getting out there, you have high volume, and it's probably annoying and you're exhausted over time, but you never know, like you are consistent. And two, you're generous, you make introductions yourself and you bring value and it comes back to you.
Yeah.
So, we've got only a couple more questions. We're going to finish on time here. That's what I'm talking about. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced on your journey? I think we already hit on some of them, right? Like having a client cancel a subscription, or if someone who's going to fund you kind of rescind the offer or pivot in a different direction. Maybe late nights. Is there anything else, if we look at the underbelly or reality of being a founder, that you'd share around the cost that you have to pay to get to success?
I mean, yeah, there's so many things, man, but I would say like it's the especially as a solo founder, it's the burden of like doing it by yourself. So like there's no one I can really call when we've had like a massive cancellation or like an investor's pulled out their $250,000 check, or like, when that stuff hits, like you have to kind of like mentally handle that on your own. And it can be super lonely sometimes. Like it can really be tough to like, there's just no one to talk. Like you can talk to a girlfriend, but they don't understand like your situation because they don't have equity. So yeah, I could say like the most difficult part is just like, if you don't have co-founders like this, the journey you have to go on by yourself. And even the wins kind of suck sometimes because you're like, we just closed the biggest gym software on the planet. And then you're like, who is anyone here to talk to about this? This is pretty cool. So I tweet about it. It's like, it'd be nice to have someone there where I can like,
I'm here for you.
there we go. So
yeah. Okay. I know we're coming on time. So what are some of the mindset habits and rituals that set you up on a daily basis to show up as your best self and to weather the challenges of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I'm not really big on mindset I'm not big on like having like a daily thing that I do, but I will say getting a workout in the morning is super clutch for me. When I don't do any sort of physical activity in the morning, my whole day is just not as good as it should be. So also getting out of bed right away. So not like laying in bed and like ruining your day. Like I get up, immediately. And then I try and like either walk on the treadmill or go to the gym. And then that sets me up for success. So.
Dude, you're preaching to me, man. I'm gonna hit the gym after this. I woke up at for 6:15, but got up at 6:45. I did sleep a little bit, but
Nice.
hey, still got in got up decently early for this. Now, final 2 questions are: what's the future of WeStrive? What does it look like? Like, what are some of the things you're excited about in the future?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're going to be launching this incredible booking and scheduling tool, kind of competing with MindBody. So they're like a multi-billion-dollar company. We're coming at them. And yeah, I mean, we're just basically going to continue to keep growing our feature set. We've already expanded into gyms. We're going to start working with, like the F45s of the world, hopefully, where we have like all these small studios using us too. So, yeah.
Final question. Tell us a little bit about the WeStrive podcast, just super high level. What's it about? What can people expect? And then roll that into, how to find that podcast, and also any other calls to action, like connecting with you, checking out WeStrive. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, do got to bounce. But the Why WeStrive podcast, I interview like seed to Series A founders or above, people that have had massive exits, and kind of just like spend an hour or two in this studio that we built, kind of just asking them, how they grew their business, what steps they took, the challenges, and all that fun stuff.
Perfect. Guys, connect with Cory on LinkedIn, check out WeStrive, and check out the Why WeStrive podcast. It's all linked in the description. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, and happy selling and happy living. Thanks, Cory. Appreciate your time.
See you guys. I'm actually going to leave though. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.